Episode 1, here we go. We've got a fantastic guest today joining us. I'll let John introduce Kathleen in a minute, but I'm Brad Dunn at University of Lynchburg. He's John Duncan at Southwestern University, and we're rolling again with our Coffee with the Coaches podcast. So very excited to have this rebooted with a great guest. John, I'll let you go ahead and introduce her for today.
Yeah, everybody, welcome. We have Cathleen Pruden from Trinity University. She just finished up her second year. But Kathleen, can you just give us a quick bio about yourself?
Yeah, this is my second year at Trinity. And before that, I spent 2 largely COVID-filled years at Amherst, 3 years as an assistant, 3 years at Bowdoin as an assistant. And I also swam Division III at Mount Holyoke College in Western Massachusetts. So Division III, everything for me, but that's what I like.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us on. Brad, you just want to get started with the questions?
Yeah, I guess Kathleen, you and I are both Division III everything. John, sorry, buddy, but swimming at Purdue gets you kicked out of that. Otherwise, you're almost in the club with us. But Kathleen, no, it's really good to see you. I know we crossed paths a couple of times at convention. I think the first time that I ever talked to you, I was like really excited in person because of like how cool your social media was at Bowdoin, and you've continued to do that everywhere else that you've been. And like I will be sitting here like on a Thursday afternoon in Lynchburg, and you're posting like cool reels and videos and TikToks and stuff down at Trinity. I'm like, oh, like she's still on top of the game. So always love seeing that. But yeah, no, I know you're out in Texas now, in which, by the way, got my Buc-ee's mug in honor of our 2 Texans that we've got on today. But I know you're from the East Coast originally, back with New Wave Swimming, a lot of time swimming with them, and growing up down in North Carolina, right? What was that like for you, and how did you take that experience going up to the Northeast and now out to Texas?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing I've ever known. Like I grew up in Raleigh, was born there, but definitely had a little bit of a change of scenery for college and my jobs afterwards. My parents sort of encouraged me. They're like, do it now. You're not paying a heating bill. You're not taking a car out of the snow. Like try a new adventure. And if you like it, then you can make informed decisions later. So I liked it enough to stay for a little while. And now I definitely enjoy being back in a warmer climate in Texas. But, I think college swimming's a lot different regardless of where you did club swimming. But definitely my senior year with Wave and all of the time I spent there in college, home on breaks, prepared me really well for the swimming I would do in college for sure. And, still stuff I think about now sometimes as a coach.
Yeah, I know it's weird to try to relate your swimming experience to your college experience to your coaching and all of those things connected together. But I did hear a rumor that you had a notebook that recorded every single New Wave practice. I think you swam with Coach Ed, maybe a little bit with Coach John down there. Do you still have that notebook?
Oh, okay. Doesn't have quite everything. The summer going into my senior year of college, maybe into my junior year, somewhere near the end, my sister got me, I do have it, it's in the other room, I can provide it if you all want to see it. Provided
A journal or book?
It was made by a company, Your Swim Log, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has like some pre-provided ratings, sort of. So yeah, I have everything from that summer at Wave and kind of that whole last college season recorded. But I think some of my most traumatic Wave practices are not recorded. They're just burned into my brain. Like you don't need to write some of that down to remember it.
Yep, that's how it'll go, right?
Yeah. Those are things that people haven't repeated, like when 3 1492s. And if we couldn't name Columbus's 4th ship, we were going to do a 4th 1492.
Ooh. Yeah, that's John. You ever do anything like that? You're a history major, right? We were just talking about that. You ever any dates or year significance into your practices?
I don't recall. I mean, I don't think so. Nothing like that. Our programs that I swam for, we weren't that creative.
Well, speaking of creative, what's your next question for Kathleen?
Kathleen, I don't want to sound like this is like an interview or anything. So just, but your first year at Trinity, I mean, very successful. At midseason, at conference, at nationals. I was very impressed. A lot of coaches were impressed just by your performance. My question is how did you get the team to believe in you, just your first month, first midseason, and really kind of trust you throughout the whole process?
Are these questions I'm supposed to know the answer to?
I don't know. Like, I mean, is there anything
John
that you
says
did?
not
Like,
interview questions.
I mean, it could be,
I
mean, it seems like you're a very organized person. And so maybe that could be one of the things, communication, just any tips that you can give us, the audience, maybe more of a team events that you did right at the beginning of the semester.
Yeah, I think I was definitely lucky. Like they were coming off of the season where they had one meet. It was a conference championship. So there was definitely an element of doing anything is going to be exciting and an improvement. And basically the first years and the sophomores had never experienced college swimming. At that point, the juniors and the seniors seemingly had like forgotten how it worked. So I think that probably definitely contributed to a pretty positive honeymoon period. I think the biggest, I don't know, like if I did anything, the biggest thing was probably just trying to listen to what they were saying they wanted, which was a lot of talk about accountability, a lot of big words that sound good was what they were saying they wanted. I mean, we definitely did some good work figuring some of that out. Did some kind of workshopping of defining what does a positive team culture look like, and then coming up with the behaviors and actions that would support a positive team culture, and the behaviors and actions that would detract from that. And we kind of put that in a framework that the team referenced throughout the year. So that definitely, I think, was, I'm not sure that was them believing in me, but that was maybe us as a coaching staff giving them the tools to believe in each other and be able to work together in those ways. It's kind of the only tangible thing that I can think of right now where I'm like, all right, that's something that like I might have done as a coach that led to anything.
Yeah, that's like, John's asking questions about like when people take over and how do you build that trust, and like that to me is so impressive. When I started our program here, like I literally started the program. It was all brand new people. It was all, however we want to do it, that's what we're going to do and start. I didn't have to take over, especially taking over from some successful coaches like you did. It was awesome. It was awesome to see you have that success. And yeah, I never really thought about how coming out of COVID, it had been like a long transition already before you had gotten into it. So definitely a tough thing to do. And I'm sure you're happy to have gotten to where you are and can continue working that way. So John asked like the interview questions. I asked the fun questions. That's the creative piece to it. But our show is Coffee with the Coaches. And John, what kind of coffee are you drinking over there?
This is a Cafe au lait from HEB. It's a Costa Rican roast.
I've got my organic Peruvian coffee from Aldi, but I'm drinking it out of my like I said, my Texas Bucky. It's a beaver mug. I hope that the Zoom doesn't mirror it. I hope it reads the correct way when you see it, or that it does mirror it. But Kathleen, I don't see coffee over there.
I'm not a coffee girl. Like honestly, I just don't even think coffee smells good. I'm not a tea person either. I drink orange juice every morning, but I already did that this morning, and so I just live on water all day.
Wow, it's probably a little bit of a healthier way to live.
Yeah,
I don't do soda. Caffeine as a general thing freaks me out.
You just jump right out of bed and you're good to go? Or do you have that shot of orange juice?
No, orange juice has to, like, I couldn't have orange juice before I swam this morning. That would have been gross. At some point I have to have it.
At some point, okay.
Well, I guess that's kind of a half question. So the full question then, we talked about like having coffee, like doing this podcast, or ways that we want to stay connected as coaches and enjoy this job. And it's a job that's definitely a lifestyle, right? It's not a 9 to 5 type of thing. What are some ways that especially moving around to different places, but like, what are some hobbies? What are some things that you've kept consistent in your life to continue to enjoy doing that, enjoying, being on the pool deck during the season and the recruiting grind and, all of the administrative stuff that comes with being a head coach? What's Kathleen like to do?
Yeah. I'm someone who's like never left the water. I think the longest I've ever been out was like 40 days during COVID until my sister and I snuck into a lake and were promptly kicked out after, a couple yards, but it felt good at the time. So swimming has been a pretty consistent thing for me. This is the first time since I've been in Texas, this is the first time I've swum with a master's team. But doing it with a little more structure has been fun. I like to do lots of crafting. Like I'm really into making cards for all sorts of holidays. So I know I have a lot of friends who look forward to just like random, happy St. Patrick's Day mail. My bigger thing this year has been like bracelets to go with cards. So that's been fun, or just, I don't know, random little crafts that I can do and get excited about. It's kind of like puzzling to me, but to make something instead.
Nice. And like, what would John and I talk about it when we, trying to find things. Like me, like I play disc golf. I've got a disc golf course right behind our house. You might even like hear it in the background. There's people out there playing right now, but like just trying to find like weird hobbies and things just you can kind of reset and do all that stuff. What would be your advice to, especially if people are young coaches starting or coaches that are like close to burning out? Like, how do you incorporate finding, the time to do that and, and finding maybe new avenues to be creative or to just reset and refresh?
Yeah. I mean, you referred to it as a lifestyle. I think reaching the point where you can recognize that it's a lifestyle and not like, if you're going to live life comparing your life to your friends who work a 9 to 5, you're probably just going to be frustrated forever. But recognizing that that's not what we're doing, I think is a pretty big, helpful piece of the puzzle. I've had an accountability buddy for the last, I don't know, 3 years now. And like, that's helpful in so many ways. And sometimes that's her literally saying, you said you were going to move today. Like, have you gotten up out of your desk? And just taking a lap around the building is like a centering, grounding thing and can be hard to do on your own. So helpful to have a social group of coaches who are going to kind of take on that endeavor together and motivate each other to do more than just sit in our offices or stand on the pool deck.
That's totally true, Kathleen. There was a coach that texted you at conference.
I was afraid you were about to go.
7:30 in the morning, and I think that coach took a picture of him on the elliptical and asked, "Hey, are you out of bed? Are you moving?" But there's no response until later, and then I just felt so tired. But I don't know who. I mean, I don't know what coach that was, but
is it the same one that then sent me a picture of him lifting 10-pound dumbbells because that's about all he could handle?
There were 12, Brad, 12 pounds.
Sorry.
But no, Kathleen, I think it's very important to, for me, like exercise is medicine for me, and I'm a very hyperactive guy, and I get moody when I don't work out before competitions or even practice. And so, but my daughter in there right now, speaking of crafts and cards, she's making my son's turning 6 years old on Friday, but he's a big Pokemon guy. And so she's been making a lot of Pokemon cutouts for his party on Saturday. So that's what they're doing. So I guess, my next question is, have you had any challenges in the past 2 years? Anything that, and again, these interview questions.
What kind of a question is that? Are you coaching if you haven't?
I really thought that you were going to ask her what her favorite Pokemon was. I was getting ready to like, oh, John's getting creative. We're going to ask Pokemon questions. But instead, what are your challenges?
We can go into that. I mean, we can go into
actually you to be our next co-host on the podcast, Kathleen. I guess that's what this is.
Just bring questions here. I can come up with something. I don't know. What has been your favorite?
Or we're just changing.
Favorite place to go in Texas? Sorry, that's a diesel truck that just went by. We got a lot of trucks in Texas.
Barton Springs had always been on my bucket list, so I did that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's my favorite. It's a really big state. There's most of it I still haven't seen.
Just the past 2 years. I mean, Barton Springs is a really cool place. Very, I think it's one of the oldest natural springs.
Yeah. For a
I could be
mermaid, it was
wrong.
pretty cool.
In Texas. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. There's not many lap lanes. I think there's open water, right? There's a diving board there.
Yeah.
And then I like Deep Eddy too. I think that's
Yeah, I
really
swam there as well. That was cool too. It was cool to be out there in December and have it be 80 degrees and
Yep.
swim outside. That was pretty
Yep.
neat.
Yep. So, and then you recently just went to Enchanted Rock,
I
correct?
did try Enchanted Rock. Again, like water is always going to be superior to land though. So I would put the water options above the hiking option,
Yeah.
but it was cool. Like I've done it now.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Brad, there's my questions. You're up.
Well, I think
I got
guess-
one more for you too, Kathleen.
why don't you ask it, because we're less than 5 minutes left. We're keeping these short, so quick.
Okay, got it. Advice to a new head coach.
Yeah.
Someone that like you came into Trinity. Any advice to give them?
Oh gosh, this is so hard. Because I could talk for a couple hours.
Well, just a few things. I mean,
I
you
know.
reflect on when you started. What could you have done differently or
Yeah.
continue to do to be successful?
Definitely, like well, like setting this, maybe this is would be my overarching idea for a new head coach. While setting up systems is like important in the long term so that your life is easier and you have ways of doing things and you have fewer decisions to make because you've got systems in place. Don't obsess over that piece in the beginning, because the reality is like you're going to show up and some things just need to get done to get your feet on the ground and to get things rolling in the first year. So figuring out that balance of like setting up some systems that are going to help you in the long term, but also like just getting the ball rolling, because doing something's better than nothing.
That's true. That's true. Now, would that consider like recruiting number one, or that would be team culture number one? Where would you place kind of those? Are both equally important, but we kind of go back to putting that trust in you first. Would that be?
I mean, I think I truly tried to do it all on the same day. Like on my second day, like in the morning, I sent a recruit blast out to everyone in the database. And then I spent the afternoon in individual Zooms with our athletes. And then I went home at night and did the admin stuff. So it's all the most important in that moment.
All right. So very good. Thank you for answering John's interview questions. I don't have another question for you, Kathleen, as much as I do. We've got about 1 minute left. And so, I want to thank you for joining us, spending some time of your morning and your summer for talking with us. And I'll get this posted later today or early tomorrow so you can share it with folks. But I'll kind of give you the last word before we sign off, just about, why swimming, right? Like we have a boring sport. It's hard on our bodies. It's tough to love. But tell us why swimming, and I'll let you sign us off for the day.
Why swimming? Because I was always the crazy person who like didn't think it was boring. Like catch me skipping into practice on a Monday knowing I'm going distance-free mile work, but like that is so fun. Like I'm that crazy person. I don't think it's boring. I truly didn't have that moment till one day senior year when I was like, why am I here? And it was a 1 day long snafu in the process, because there's just nothing as like magical as being in the water, especially outside in the summer, but just truly nothing beats that. So that's my why swimming.
Awesome.
That's why maybe also why I'm a water girl.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see you all soon.
Awesome.